Hare Krishna, welcome everyone to our Chaitanya Charitāmrita review class. We'll begin with our prayers. Om Ajnana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahiyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri-rupam sagrajatam sahagana raghunathanvitam tam sajivam sadvaitam savadhutam parijana sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome everyone. We are discussing from Chaitanya Charitāmrita Adi Leela. We are on chapter 13. Today we'll be starting the wonderful pastimes of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So in last 12 chapters, Kaviraj Goswami has described in detail the various philosophical details about the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He started this Chaitanya Charitāmrita Adi Leela by offering invocation prayers. First 14 verses are the invocation prayers, and they are explained in the 7 chapters, first 7 chapters. Then in the 8th chapter, Kaviraj Goswami offers prayers and he gets the blessings. He describes how he received the blessings of all the Guru Varga, starting from the Goswamis and then the Haridas Pandit and all the Brajavasis. Payayaragyadan Brajera Vaishnavagan Bandotara Mukhya Haridas Chaitanya Vilasa Sindhu Kallo Lera Eka Bindu Tara Kana Kahe Krishnadas. So he received the instructions from all the Brajavasis headed by Haridas Pandit, and therefore he compiled this Sri Chaitanya Charitāmrita. Then in 9, 10, 11, 12 chapters, Kaviraj Goswami describes the various branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Bhakti Kalpa Vriksha. And in detail, he described that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the gardener himself, and he is the one who is the trunk of this tree of devotional service, Bhakti Kalpa Vriksha. And then the first 2 branches are Nityanand Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. Then the third important branch is the branch of Gadadhar Pandit. So Kaviraj Goswami describes all that in great detail before describing the Adi Leela pastimes. So in this Adi Leela, actually the 13th chapter is the beginning of the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Entire Adi Leela describes the household pastimes, the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya as a householder. And the Anta Leela describes the pastimes of the Lord as sannyasi. And this Adi Leela is further divided into 2 parts. The first 6 years of the sannyas, this Shesha Leela, Anta Leela, is divided into 2 parts. The first 6 years of the sannyas, they are called as Madhya Leela. And then the remaining 18 years are called as Anta Leela. So in the Madhya Leela, he traveled to various places. He went to South India, he went to Vrindavan, Bengal, Navadvip, and then he settled in Jagannath Puri. And then he spent the remaining 18 years in Jagannath Puri. Of these 18 years, first 6 years, he was interacting with devotees, he was making them dance, and he was singing, doing kirtan, and inundating everyone in this love of God. But in the last 12 years, he was not interacting with anyone. He was just absorbed in the intense ecstasies of separation of Srimati Radharani. And he would speak like a madman. Just like Radharani, when Uddhavji went to Vrindavan and he saw Radharani, Radharani was speaking like a mad woman, talking to a bumblebee. That was the situation of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And in those 12 years, Ramananda Rai and Swarup Damodar Goswami were his constant companions. So that is the small brief about Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. So like every chapter, Kaviraj Goswami begins this chapter by offering a prayer. Sa prasidatu Chaitanya devo yasya prasadatah tallila varnane yogya sadya syadadhamopiyam. So now in the beginning of this 13th chapter, Kaviraj Goswami is again expressing his humble fallen condition. He's not fallen, he is supremely glorified, greatest of the devotees, but naturally devotees are humble. Humility is the common factor in all the devotees of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sa prasidatu Chaitanya, I wish the grace of Lord Sri Chaitanya, may he be pleased with me, prasidatu, because devo yasya prasadataha, only by his mercy, tal leela varnane, only by his mercy I can describe the pastimes which he has performed in this world. And only by his mercy, adhamopi, although I am so fallen, I can describe the pastimes. So Prabhupada writes, to describe the pastimes of the Lord, one needs supernatural power, which one can achieve by the grace and mercy of the Lord. Otherwise, it is not possible. Prabhupada writes, without the mercy of the Lord, one cannot compose any transcendental literature. And by the dint of the grace of the Lord, even a fool can write literatures. Even a lame can cross the mountains. Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande Shri Guru Dinataranam. By the grace of the Lord and by the grace of the spiritual master, one can do unimaginable things. Just like Srila Prabhupada himself, he would tell many times that I have not written these books. It is Krishna who has written them. I am just writing. He dictates and I write them. Therefore, many times Prabhupada would read his own books with such interest, such attention, he would relish them. Which author will read his own book? But Srila Prabhupada would do it because Krishna had written all these books. Srila Prabhupada was just an instrument. Prabhupada would say in a humble way, Athapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasadaleshanugrita eva hi janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno na chanya ekopi chiram vichinvan. Athapi te deva padambuja dvaya prasad. Prasad means mercy. Unless one gets a drop of the mercy of the Supreme Lord, nobody can understand the pastimes of the Lord. Nobody can write the pastimes of the Lord. Janati tattvam bhagavan mahimno. One can understand the pastimes of the Lord only by the mercy of the Lord. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. This is possible only by the mercy of the Lord, by the power of the Lord. So that's how Kaviraj Goswami is expressing his humble position. No devotee of the Lord thinks that I am qualified to do this. Everyone feels and everyone should feel that this is just possible by the mercy of the Lord. I am not doing anything on my own. Nothing belongs to me. Everything is given by the Supreme Lord. All my strength, all my intelligence, all my abilities, they come from the Supreme Lord. So why I should be proud of anything? Nothing belongs to us. That is the actual mood of a devotee, a mood of humility, trinadapi, sunichana. In that consciousness, one can continuously chant the names of the Lord. So Kaviraj Goswami is offering his humble prayer. Sadhya syat adhamopi ayam. I am so fallen, but by his mercy I can describe the pastimes which are unlimited. The pastimes of the Lord are unlimited. Chaitanya Charitra Leela Adbhut Anant Brahma Shiva Sheshayar Pai Nahiyant. It is adbhut, wonderful pastimes, unlimited pastimes. Who can understand? It is like a Chaitanya Charitra Agad, Chaitanya Leela Agad Gambhir. It is like an unfathomable, unlimited, vast ocean. Nobody can understand. So therefore he is asking for the mercy. Then he offers respects to the Panch Tattva. Jaya Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Gaur Chandra Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Jaya Gadadhara Jaya Srinivas Jai Mukunda Vasudeva Jai Haridas Jai Damodara Swarupa Jai Murari Gupta Ei Sab Chandroday Tama Koila Lupta. Offers obeisances to so many devotees of the Lord. Because of all these, Kaviraj Goswami says, Ei Sab Chandra Uday. All these devotees, they are like the moons. And when the moon appears, all the darkness is dispelled. Ei Sab Chandrodaya Tama Koila Lupta. By the mercy of all these devotees of the Lord, the darkness of atheism, darkness of voidism, darkness of agnosticism was dispelled. That was the uh, you know appeal of Advaitacharya. That's why he was calling loudly that, oh my Lord, please appear, because the whole world is full of karma kand and jnana kand. There is no tinge of bhakti anywhere. Bhakti gandhahina. So therefore, all these devotees, they dispel the darkness of ignorance, dispel the darkness of atheism. Ei sab chandrodaya tama koila lupta. And then he compares Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be that the supreme moon. Jaya Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhaktagan Sabar Prema Jyotsnaya Ujjvala Tribhuvan. Again, he compares the devotees of the Lord to Chandra. And he compares Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to be the Chandra. Jaya 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 Sri Chaitanya Chandrera Bhaktagan. So Bhakta Chandragan. So Lord Chaitanya is like the supreme moon, and all the other devotees, they are also like the Bhakta Chandragan. And by the Jyotsna, by the effulgence of these moons, entire three world, all the three worlds are illuminated. Sabara Prema Jyotsnaya Ujjwal Tribhuvan. All the three worlds are illuminated by the effulgence of these moons. That is the power of every devotee of the Lord. Brahmanda Tarite Shakti Dhare Jane Jane Ei Veda Purane Guna Gaye Jeva Shune. Devaki Das Thakur, he writes, Brahmanda Tarite Shakti, every devotee has the power to liberate the entire universe. Brahmanda Tarite Shakti Dhare Jane Jane Ei Veda Purane Guna Gaye Jeva Shune. And all the Vedas and the Puranas, they are describing the glories of the devotees of the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, in this verse, we find that there are, moon is described as Chandra Gana. Gan means plural. That means there are many numbers. There are many moons. Our Giriraj Swami Maharaj, he has written a book, Many Moons. where so many devotees, disciples of Srila Prabhupada described how they left this world in such a wonderful consciousness. Prabhupada would tell, I don't need many stars, just one moon is sufficient. Ekaschandra tamohanti nachatara sahasrashah. And Prabhupada would tell that I just came and I thought if I can make just one person a devotee, pure devotee, then by his prayers I will be liberated. That was the humble mood of Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada would say, I just came for one moon and Mahaprabhu has sent me so many pure devotees. Then Prabhupada tells, in Western astronomy, they say the stars are the suns, but the Vedic astronomers, they consider that there is only one sun and all the other are stars. And Prabhupada writes, Krishna is that sun, and whose light is reflected on all the various moons. Krishna Surya Sammaya hai andakar, yaha Krishna taha nahi mayar adhikar. So Prabhupada writes that similarly the present verse describes that the illumination of all moons brightened by the reflection of the Krishna sun, that reflection will illuminate the entire world. That's how the Srila Prabhupada describes. And only the devotees of the Lord can dispel the darkness. Nobody else can do it. To dispel the darkness of atheism, dispel the darkness of all these other philosophies, only devotees can do it. Srila Prabhupada was once with all the Pandits and he was asking, who is God? And then these big sadhus, they were saying, Swamiji, it is very difficult to tell who is God. For that, we have to read so many scriptures, so many books. Then only we will be able to tell who is God. And then there was a small Gurukul boy. He was moving around and he called him that and asked, so who is God? He said, Krishna is the supreme personality of God. Prabhupada said, just see in our movement, even a small boy knows who is God. So therefore, by the mercy of the devotees of the Lord, Samara Prema Jyotsnaye, Sakal Ujjwal Tribhuvan, the entire world can get illuminated. The devotees of the Lord can tell about Krishna. And to know Krishna means to know 6 things. Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva Sar, Bhava Tattva, Prema Tattva, Leela Tattva Ar. To understand Krishna means to understand the Tattva of Krishna's personality, to understand the Tattva of devotional service, to understand the mellows of devotion, Rasa Tattva, to understand the mellows of ecstasy, Bhava Tattva, Leela Tattva, and Prema Tattva. By the mercy of the devotees only we can understand all this. So therefore, Kaviraj Goswami continues that in this book, I have spoken the preface so far. Now I will start the Adi Leela pastimes of the Lord in a chronological order. But in the beginning, he is giving a synopsis. He just gives a brief of what are the various pastimes of the Lord. And then he says, later I'll describe them in great detail. So, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in Navadvip. Sri Krishna Chaitanya Navadipe Avatari. Atachalish Vatsara Prakata Vihari. So he appeared in Navadvip and Atachalis. That means 48 years he manifested his pastimes in this world. And of these 48, Chaudashata Sake Janmera Praman, Chaudashata Panchanane Hoila Antardhan. So he appeared when, according to the Shaka era, he appeared in Chaudashata Sat. 1407 of the Shaka era, that means 1486 of the English calendar. So he appeared in this world, and when he disappeared, 14 Panchanane. He disappeared in 1455. That means he disappeared in 1534 AD. These two dates are very important. 1486 and 1534. So he stayed in this world for 48 years. And out of these 48 years, for first 24, 24 Vatsara, 24 means 24 Vatsara, 24 years, he played the role of a householder. And in this household life, what he did? Nirantara Koila Krishna Kirtana Vilas. He inaugurated this Sankirtan movement, and he was always engaging in the pastimes of Sankirtan. And then for the rest of the 24 years, he accepted sannyas and he resided in Jagannath Puri. So he appeared in 1486. Then 1510, he took sannyas. Various chronological descriptions will come now. What Mahaprabhu did when? Then in this 24 years, Taram Madhya Chhay Vatsara Gamana Gaman. Out of these 24 years, 6 years he was traveling. Where he was traveling? Kabu Dakshin, Kabu Gauda, Kabu Vrindavan. Sometimes he was going to South India, sometimes to Navadvip, Bengal, sometimes to Vrindavan. So Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas in 1510. Then in March 1510, he came to Jagannath Puri. In the Feb end, he took sannyas, and in the March, he moved to Jagannath Puri. And in the May of 1510, he left for South India. So that is how, 1510, he took sannyas. Then in the March, he came to Puri. Then 1510 May, he left for South India. And there he was going everywhere and drowning everyone in this love of God. Matta simma pray Prabhu korilagaman prema veshayai kori namo sankirtan. Just like a mad elephant, mad lion. Matta simma pray Prabhu korilagaman. And he was drowning everyone in this prema. Prema veshayai kori namo sankirtan. He was chanting loudly. So in this way, he traveled all over the South India. He went up to Pandharpur. There he came to know that Vishwarup has departed. Actually, he had a plea. I want to search my brother Vishwarup. Although he knew that Vishwarup had departed already. Vishwarup had departed in 1509 already in Pandharpur. He had taken sannyas, Shankararanya, and in Pandharpur he had departed already in 1509. Mahaprabhu knew this. He is the Supreme Lord. But it was a chala. Just to trick everyone. He said, I want to go and search my brother because he left and nobody knows where he is. So then he traveled all over South India and then he went back to Jagannath Puri. 2 years he was there, traveling. Then after reaching to Jagannath Puri, he wanted to go to Vrindavan. And then he was asking devotees, just see, the Supreme Lord is asking permission. Yadyapi swatantra prabhu nahe nivaran bhakta ichha bina prabhu na kare gaman. Krishna is controlled by his devotees' love. The Akhila Koti Brahmand Nayak, he becomes controlled by the devotees' love. Evam sandarshita hyanga harina bhrityavashyata swavashenapi krishnena yasyedam sa ishwaram vashe. All the controllers of the universe are under control of Krishna, but Krishna comes under the control of devotees. He's asking permission, please allow me to go. And the devotees are saying, no. Now Janmashtami is coming. Mahaprabhu, please stay for some time. Okay. Then Before that, Rath Yatra is coming, then Janmashtami is coming, then Sharat Purnima is coming. Please stay for some time. Then Holi is coming. Please stay for some time. Then Ramanavami, then Narsimha Chaturdashi. That's how they could, help Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for 1 year. They were not allowing him to go. Bhakta ichha vina Prabhu na kare gaman. Ultimately, Mahaprabhu said, oh, 1 year has gone by. Please give me permission. Still, they were not giving permission. And somehow, after persuading a lot, then devotee said, okay, you go. Then Gadadhar Pandit wanted to come with him. And Gadadhar Pandit, he had taken a Kshetra sannyas because uh, Kshetra sannyas means you cannot go out of Jagannath Puri. Then he said, I want to come with you. Mahaprabhu said, how can you come? You have taken a vow of Kshetra sannyas. He said, Kshetra sannyas mura jaukara satal. Let my vow go to hell. But Mahaprabhu, he doesn't like devotees if they give up their dharma and karma. Prabhu lagi dharma karma chhade bhaktagan. Bhakta dharma hani Prabhu na hoye sahan. Mahaprabhu, for Lord, devotees are ready to give up their dharma and karma, but Krishna doesn't want. Krishna doesn't want that devotee should give up their vows. So Mahaprabhu left and Gadadhar Pandit, he fainted. Somehow Mahaprabhu left and then he went till Ramakeli. He went to Ramakeli, took a detour. Everybody was confused. Why Mahaprabhu has gone to Ramakeli? Then there he met Rup Sanatan Goswami and Sanatan said, you are going with a huge crowd of people because thousands of people came with Mahaprabhu and they were going on a yatra with Mahaprabhu. Sanatana Goswami said, Vrindavan is a sacred place. It is a solitary place. You should not go with so many people. Ekaki aiba kima sange ekajan. Tomaye shobhaye Vrindavanera tabe shobhaye Vrindavanera. Just go alone. You should go alone or with one person. You should not go with so many people. You will not be able to appreciate Vrindavan if you go with so many people. Then Mahaprabhu said, okay. He went up till Kanai Natashala and then he returned. And then Mahaprabhu said, Sanatan Prabhu More, Sanatan More Prabhu, Sanatan Mukhe Prabhu More Shikhaila. Through the mouth of Sanatan Goswami, Krishna has taught me. Then Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri and said, he'd met Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadhar Pandit asked, Are, how you came back? You didn't go? Mahaprabhu said, Are, you were hurt because that's why Krishna didn't allow me to go to Vrindavan. If devotees are hurt, then how can one enter Vrindavan? Because Krishna doesn't allow one to enter Vrindavan if you offend devotees. That is again Mahaprabhu is acting in a humble way. Then 2 more years went by. Then 1515 ultimately Mahaprabhu, he left and he entered Vrindavan in Kartik Purnima of 1515. And even before going to Vrindavan, again there was a dispute. Devotees were saying, Are Mahaprabhu, you are going alone. Please take someone. Because your both hands will be busy chanting. Tumara dui hasta baddhanama ganane. Jalpatra bahirvas vahibakya mane. Are, you will be chanting and counting. One hand you will be chanting and other hand you will be counting how many rounds you have chanted. Are, who will carry your water pot? Who will carry your outer cloth? Jalpatra bahirvas vahibakya mane. So Mahaprabhu said, no, I don't want to take anyone. Last time I took Kal Krishna Das, what type of problem it was. He himself got distracted and I had to save him. I don't want to take anyone. And all the devotees, they are convincing Nityanand Prabhu, Jagdanand Pandit, and everybody is telling, please take somebody. If you don't want to take all our senior devotees, just take a new devotee. Nutana Sangi Haibe Snigdaya Raman Aicheya Bepai Tabe Lai Ekajan. So Mahaprabhu said, okay, you give me a new devotee who is mature and who has affection. Mahaprabhu is giving lots of, pros, okay, lots of conditions. New devotee and mature devotee. How is this possible? Mahaprabhu thought it is not possible. They will not get anyone. Nutana Sangi Haibek Snigdhyaraman. To develop affection for the Lord, it is not so easy. It takes a long time. So Mahaprabhu said, if you get me such type of person, such type of new devotee, but affectionate devotee, then I'll take. Then devotees were no less. Swarup Damodar Goswami brought Balbhadra Bhattacharya. Swarup kahe Balbhadra Bhattacharya, Tomate Susnigdha Pandita Sadhu Arya. Oh Mahaprabhu, he is Balbhadra Bhattacharya. He has 4 qualities of a servant. He is Susnigdha, Bada Pandit, Sadhu, and Arya. He has such an affection for you. He is a very scholarly person. He is very gentle, and he knows how to behave with others. These are the 4 qualities of a servant. Susnigdha, Pandit, Sadhu, and Arya. He should be very, very affectionate towards the master. Then only he can understand what the needs of a master without even telling. And he should be himself very intelligent so that he can do things properly. He should be gentle and he should know how to behave with other servants. So Mahaprabhu, he had to agree. Then he entered Vrindavan after waiting for 5 years. Mahaprabhu took sannyas in 1510 with only one reason. The day he took sannyas, he wanted to run to Vrindavan. 5 years he had to wait to enter Vrindavan. Supreme Lord, he had to wait for 5 years to go to Vrindavan. And he entered Vrindavan on Kartik Purnima. 1 month he was going to various places, all the forests of Vrindavan, all the 12 forests of Vrindavan. Mahaprabhu was in complete ecstasy. And wherever he would go, all the Brajvasis, they could see that he is the Supreme Lord himself. He is a great personality. Everybody wanted to invite Mahaprabhu at their home for lunch. And who was in problem? Balabhadra Bhattacharya. Srila Prabhupada, when he was in India, many of the Indians, they wanted to invite Prabhupada, and Prabhupada's secretary had a tough time to manage all these invitations. Because whoever would go to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada said, yes, I'll come to your home. And the secretary was having a tough time, and he went to Prabhupada. Prabhupada, you are saying everyone, yes, I'll come. How will you manage? Prabhupada said, look, my job is to say yes. And you have to work out. You have to find whom to say yes, whom to say no, but I will say yes to everyone. So Balbhadra Bhattacharya was in the same situation. So he became so stressed. He was in anxiety in Vrindavan, managing all these invitations. So ultimately he went to Mahaprabhu after 1 month. He said, Pratah kale aise lok tomare na paye lok moro matha khaye. So he says, every morning people, they assemble in front of our, kutia and the place where Mahaprabhu was staying. Pratah kale lok tomare na Pratah kala aise lok. Early morning people assemble in front of Mahaprabhu's place of residence. एंड तुम्हारे ना पाए लोकम और माया तुम आप तो चले जाते हैं वृंदावन घूमने के लिए, दर्शन करने के लिए, एंड दे आर जस्ट ऑन मी, ट्रबलिंग मी, मेरा माथा खा रहे हैं सब लोग. So the source of bliss for Mahaprabhu became source of misery for Balbhadra Bhattacharya. So Balbhadra Bhattacharya, when he complained to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu didn't tell her, I came to Vrindavan to relish Vrindavan. Who called you? You came for my service and now you are in anxiety. You go back. I don't want anyone. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so very sensitive. He said, if you are miserable, if you are in anxiety, I will not stay in Vrindavan. Supreme Lord is ready to give up all his plans just to satisfy a new devotee. That is how Mahaprabhu is showing by his personal example, by his personal behavior. Vrindavan is a place to give pleasure to a devotee, not to put devotee in misery. So if devotees are becoming miserable, then we should give up our own, so-called interests also. They may be devotional interests. So Mahaprabhu wanted to be in Vrindavan for many, many months, but just in few months, he moves out of Vrindavan. So he entered Vrindavan in Kartik Purnima. He moved out of Vrindavan in Makar Sankranti next year, 1516. Just 2-3 months he stayed in Vrindavan. And then in February 1516, Rup Sanatan Goswami entered Vrindavan. So that's how Mahaprabhu left and Rup Sanatan Goswami entered Vrindavan. Both of them met Mahaprabhu in Varanasi and Prayag. So that is some historical chronology of what happened when Mahaprabhu went to Vrindavan. And then Mahaprabhu returned to Jagannath Puri 1516 to 1534. He stayed in Jagannath Puri. So Kaviraj Goswami continues in the 13th verse. He says, Ashtadas Vatsara Rahila Nilachale Krishna Premanamamrita Bhasaila Sakale. Ashtadash, 18 years, he continuously stayed in Jagannath Puri. And in those 18 years, he drowned everyone. Krishna Premanamamrita Bhasala Sakale. He drowned everyone in the ocean of love of God. Sakala. That was the purpose. Mahaprabhu appeared for this purpose only, to drown everyone. Pache mili lute prema korea swadan. He came to drown everyone and to taste themselves. Chaitanya avatare vahe premamrita vanya. Sabajiva preme bhase prithvi hoila dhanya. Mahaprabhu, he wanted to flood the entire world with his love of God. That was the purpose. So in Jagannath Puri, in last 18 years, he was drowning everyone. So the pastimes of the Lord as a householder is called as Adi Leela, and the pastimes of the Lord as sannyasi, they are called as Shesh Leela. And this Shesh Leela is divided into Madhya and Anta. So this Shesh Leela, all these pastimes, so the Adi Leela pastimes, they are recorded by Murari Gupta in his various types of notes. And the later pastimes, the Shesh Leela pastimes, they are recorded by Swarup Damodar Goswami in his Kadcha. Swarup Damodar Kadcha Anusare. Kadcha means the notes. So Kaviraj Goswami says, by hearing and reading those notes, devotees can know about the pastimes of the Lord. So then Kaviraj Goswami continues, the original pastimes of the Lord, original means the Adi Leela pastimes of the Lord, they are divided into 4 divisions: Balya, Paugand, Kaishor, and Yauvan. Childhood, early boyhood, later boyhood, and youthhood. So now Kaviraj Goswami gives the summary of the Adi Leela pastimes. Sarva Sadgun Purnam Tam Vande Falgun Purniman Yasyam Shri Krishna Chaitanyo Avatirna Krishna Namabihi. Sarva Sad Gun Purna, that supreme personality who is full of all the 6 opulences, Sad Aishadaishwarya Purna Bhagavan, he appeared in Falgun Purnima. In the month of Falgun, in the most auspicious full moon night, Vande Falgun Purnima. So he is offering obeisances to the full moon evening of that Falgun Purnima, in which the Sharaishwarya Purna Bhagavan, he appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Yasyam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Avatirna. That Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in that Falgun Purnima night. So Kaviraj Goswami is offering obeisance to that night, that Falgun, Vande Falgun Purnima. And in this Falgun Purnima, what happened? Falgun Purnima Sandhyaye Prabhur Janmoday Sai Kale Daiva Yoge Chandra Grahana Hoy. So by the inconceivable will of the Lord, on that same day, same night, Chandra Grahan also happened. Because Chandra was thinking, oh, when Supreme Lord Chandra, Krishna Chaitanya Chandra has appeared, so what is the need for Chandra, which is full of spots, which is full of all these, dark spots? So therefore, Chandra Grahan happened. Nadiya Udayagiri Purna Chandra Gaurahari Kripa Kori Hoila Uday Papatama Hoilanash Trijagatera Ullas Jagabhari Hari Dhvani Hoy. Nadiya Udayagiri, in the Nadiya, in the forest of Navadvipa, the sun and the moon of Purna Chandra Gaurahari, the moon of Chandra, Chaitanya Chandra has appeared. Kripa Kori Hoila Udaya. And when Mahaprabhu appeared as this Chandra, Papatama Hoilanash, all the darkness was dispelled. Trijagatera Ullas, and all the three worlds became happy. Jagabhari Hari Dhvani Hoy. Because Mahaprabhu, he appeared, why? To establish this Yuga Dharma of Nama Sankirtan. Therefore, Mahaprabhu, he wanted everyone to chant the names of the Lord right from the birth, even before his birth. So Chandragrahan is considered inauspicious. So therefore, all the people, they go to Ganga and take bath. And everybody was chanting, even Muslims were chanting Hari Hari. Hari Hari Bole Loka Harshita Hoya. Janmila Chaitanya Prabhu Nama Janmaiya. Everyone was happy and chanting the names of Lord Hari Hari Janmiya Chaitanya Prabhu. And in this way, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in this world and he caused the appearance of holy names. Janmiya Chaitanya Prabhu Nama Janmaiya. And holy names appeared in this world. That was the purpose of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the fourth chapter, in the third chapter, the external reasons for appearance of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are described. Why Lord Chaitanya appeared? He appeared to establish the Yuga Dharma, Nama Sankirtan. He appeared to give this Braj Bhav. He appeared on the appeals of Advaitacharya. So therefore because he appeared, he made the appearance of holy names in this world. And then various pastimes he performed. Janma Balya Pauganda Kaishora Yuva Kale Hari Nam Laila Prabhu Nana Chale. So in whatever stage he was, as a child, as a boy, as a young person, he was just inducing everyone to chant the names. Hari Nam Laila Prabhu Nana Chale. He was devising various tricks, making everyone to chant. When he was a small child, when he would cry, all the ladies, they would start chanting Hari Hari, and the boy, and then small Nimai, he would stop crying. And that became a fun. Whenever Nimai would cry, all the ladies would gather around him and start chanting Hari, Hari, and the child would stop. Therefore, he became known as Gaur Hari. Gaur Hari boli tare hase sarva nari. Ataevo hilatar nama Gaur Hari. All the ladies, they were having just such a fun time. Oh, child is crying, chant Hari Hari. And therefore, he became known as Gaur Hari because he was having a golden complexion. And in this way, since beginning, he induced everyone to chant the names of Hari. And then from boyhood, then in the Pauganda, he started writing. That is called as Akshar Abhyas. Hate, that is called as Hate Khadi. Khadi means you give some chalk in the hand of a child and he starts writing. That's the beginning of education. That is called as Hate Khadi. That happened in Pauganda. Then Kaviraj Goswami describes about Yauvan first one verse and then he goes back to Pauganda. In 27th verse he says, after his marriage, his Yauvan began, and even in the youthful age, he was propagating this Harinam Sankirtan, and he was inducing and inviting everyone to chant the names of the Lord. And so many pastimes are there, how he even went to Kazi and he made him also devotee. Everybody was chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then he goes back, Viraj Goswami goes back to Pauganda pastimes, the student pastimes. How when he was a student, he was such a wonderful scholar. As a child also, as a small child, he was able to defeat big scholars. And as a child, he had many disciples. Even in Pauganda, he had many disciples. And interestingly, whatever he was teaching, he was connecting everything to Krishna. And this all happened after he came back from Gaya. Just Pauganda. And while teaching Vyakaran, Sanskrit grammar, he would connect everything to Krishna, everything to names of Krishna. And he was describing the glories of Krishna through various grammars. Prabhupada writes that Jiva Goswami, he has written 2 grammars. Laghu Harinamamrit Vyakaran and Brihat Harinamamrit Vyakaran. And in these 2 compilations, in these 2 things, these 2 books, Jiva Goswami has presented the Sanskrit Vyakaran in such a way that one becomes expert in Sanskrit also and one becomes expert in devotional service also. Because everything is connected to Harinam. Harinam Amrit Vyakaran. That was the expertise of Jiva Goswami. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is a small young boy, just a Pauganda. He was explaining everything in terms of Krishna. And Prabhupada writes that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he explained that all the aphorisms of the Sanskrit grammar are eternal. And therefore, all the aphorisms of Sanskrit grammar should teach about the eternal Supreme Lord. Vedesha sarvai aham eva vedyaha. That is the purpose of all the scriptures. That's what Krishna says. From the study of all the Vedas, I am to be known. Vedesha sarvai aham eva vedya. And therefore, Prabhupada writes, if a person spends time in anything other than Krishna, is just wasting his valuable human form of life. All our energy, all our resources should be utilized in service of Krishna, in making our life centered around Krishna, so that we can always remember Krishna. That's what Mahaprabhu was teaching from the beginning of his life, even before he took birth. And then Prabhupada writes, if somebody does not understand this, he is the lowest among humans. He's Naradhama. He's such a fool. If somebody is becoming a teacher and he is not teaching about Krishna, Prabhupada writes, his teaching is just like the braying of an ass. One time, Swarup Damodar Goswami Maharaj, he brought a Sanskrit scholar, a Hindu scholar, and he was talking to Prabhupada and Prabhupada said, so what do you teach? You are a Hindu professor. What is Hinduism? So this professor, he was thinking, I'll make fun of Prabhupada. And he said, Swamiji, I don't know what is Hinduism. Can you tell me? So he was thinking Prabhupada will tell something and then he will counteract and then he will establish how he is supreme, how he is so expert. But Prabhupada was no less. He turned to his disciples and he said, just see, he is a professor of Hinduism and he doesn't know what is Hinduism. What do you call such a person? He is teaching that which he doesn't know. And Tamal Krishna Maharaj said, cheater Prabhupada, he's a cheater. So Prabhupada turned to him and said, he's calling you a cheater. And he became so angry. He said, but I'm an honest cheater. And then the argument started back and forth. Then Brahmanand Prabhu, very strong, heavy-bodied, huge person. He was down and this was happening upstairs, and then he heard all this and then he climbed up, and just the sound of his climbing was, boom, 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 and everybody understood, oh, Brahmanand Swami is coming. He entered, the doors, flung open, and this professor, he became surprised and he said, and Brahmanand Prabhu said, sir, please, you can leave now. So this professor became a little afraid. He said, what I have done? I have not even done anything. I am just speaking nicely. Have I offended your guru? Brahmanand Prabhu said, sir, better you leave before you offend. And then he practically lifted this professor and brought him out. So Prabhupada was very heavy against anyone who is not teaching proper philosophy. Therefore, Prabhupada says, anybody who is not teaching, who does not know the essence of the scriptures and is teaching, his teaching is like the braying of an ass. Yara dekhe tar kohe koh Krishna naam bhasaila navadvipa gram. Anyone he would see, yare dekho tare kohe koh Krishna naam. Please chant the names of Krishna. In this way, he drowned entire Navadvip Gram in chanting. And then Prabhupada describes some detail about this Navadvip. What is this Navadvip? So this current Navadvip is just a part of whole Navadvip. Prabhupada writes, and we all have, read many times, heard that this Navadvip means 9 islands. And every island represents a part, one of the limbs of Navavidha Bhakti. So just like the Antardvip, the middle wall, and this Navadvip is like a lotus flower, and the wall middle is called as Antardvipa, and that represents surrender. And in this Antardvip, you will see many places like Yogapeeth, Srivasangan, Advaitangan, then Gadadharangan is there, Caitanya Math is, Gaudiya Math is there, then Murari Gupta is there, Murari Gupta's house, Nandanacharya's house is there. That is all in Antardvip. Then another is Simantadvip, which represents hearing. So in Simantadvip, we have this Rajapur Jagannath, and we have the Samadhi of Chand Kazi, and we have Sridhar Kolvecha's house. That is Simantadvip, which represents Shravanam. So Antardvip represents Atmanivedana, surrender, and the Simantadvip represents Shravanam. Then there is Godrum Dvipa. Godrum Dvip represents Kirtanam, and there you have the place of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Surbhi Kunj, Godrum Kunj, Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. Then we have the place of Harihara Kshetra. There you will find the deity of Harihara, one deity, half of the deity is Lord Shiva, half is Vishnu. And there is a place of Narsimhapalli, the place where Narsimdev washed his hands after killing Hiranyakashipu. And then there is a wonderful place of Amaghat, where Mahaprabhu once, put the seeds, one seed of mango, and entire tree of mango appeared in within moments, and it was full of fruits which had no seeds, no peels, only pulp. Then there is a wonderful place of Swarna Sen. There is another Gaudiya Math there. That is called Swarna Vihar Gaudiya Math. The famous king from Satya Yuga, Swarna Sen, he became Buddhimanta Khan in the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Buddhimanta Khan was the one who sponsored the marriage of Nimai Pandit. That is Godruma Dvipa. Then there is a fourth Dvipa is Kola Dvipa, that represents Pada Sevanam. Pada Sevanam. In that place you will find Dhameshwar Mahaprabhu's deity, and there is a Bhajan Kutir of Jagannath Das Babaji and his Samadhi also. Then there is a place of Madhya Dvip, which represents Smaranam. In that Madhya Dvip you will find there is a place called Namisharanya forest in Navadvip. There is a place of Hamsavahan where Brahmaji came. And there is a place of Kurukshetra and Pushkara. So many, all the holy places reside in Navadvip. You don't have to go anywhere. You'll find everything in Navadvip. Then there is a Ritudvip. Ritudvip represents Archanam. And the famous place of Champahati is there in Ritudvip, and Sarbham Bhattacharya's house is there in Ritudvip. Champahati is a very famous place where Gauridas Pandit's deities are there, Gaur Gadadhar, and Jayadev Goswami's place is there in Champahati. So that is a wonderful place of Ritudvip. And then there is Janu Dvip, which represents Vandanam. Then there is Modadrum Dvip, where there you'll find the birthplace of the most wonderful personality, Vrindavan Das Thakur. The Vrindavan Das Thakur's birthplace is there, and currently the temple is being worshipped nicely by Gaudiya Math devotees. Vrindavan Das Thakur is glorified as the Ved Vyas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes. Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kahe Ved Vyas, Chaitanya Lila Ravyas Vrindavan Das. Vrindavan Das Koila Chaitanya Mangal, Tahate Chaitanya Lila Varnila Sakal. And he has described everything. Mahaprabhu, Kaviraj Goswami describes detail, verses after verses, in so many places in Chaitanya Caritāmrta, the glories of Vrindavan Das. That place is there in Modadrum Dvipa, which represents Dasya. And that is actually Modadrum Dvipa is Ayodhya, where Lord Ram came with Sita and Lakshman, and there Lord Ram told Mother Sita that in future I'll appear as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and I'll take sannyas. So that is, these pastimes happened in Modrum Dvip, and then there is the ninth Dvip is Rudra Dvip. And the Rudra Dvip represents Sakhya, and that Rudra Dvip is the place where ISKCON Mayapur is there. The Radha Madhav, Srila Prabhupada's Samadhi, that is in Rudra Dvipa. So Prabhupada describes all these 9 islands. Then Kaviraj Goswami continues about and describes the Kaishora pastimes that we will discuss in the next class. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai. Srila Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami ki jai. Anybody has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Prabhuji, you mentioned about Narsimhapalli, but when we had gone to Ahobilam, there also there's a place where Narsimha Dev had washed his hands. So
Yeah,
how 2 places are there?
Narsimhadev has washed hands in many places. So that is inconceivable. It may have happened in various different ages, different kalpas. I don't know, but that is the same place Mahaprabhu has, Narsimhadev has perform these pastimes. That is there. Okay.
Thank you.
Hari Bol. Okay. So, Ritu,
Krishna Prabhuji.
yeah,
Now,
Rudra Dweep represents Sakhya. That is the understanding. Yes, Mataji, you can ask.
Prabhuji, how to understand this? The Lord Himself took almost 5 years to go to Vrindavan.
That's
What He
how
wants to
Lord
teach us?
performs. Sorry?
What He wants to teach us in this particular
God
thing.
is controlled by the love of devotees. And you cannot go to Vrindavan just by taking a ticket to Vrindavan. We can go to Vrindavan as a physical place, but to enter Vrindavan takes lots of hard work. We have to please the devotees. We have to develop proper relationship with devotees. Mahaprabhu preached for 2 years. So many things we can learn from these pastimes. Why Mahaprabhu took 5 years to go to Vrindavan? Vrindavan is not a easy place to go. To go to Vrindavan, we have to prepare our consciousness, and that takes a lots of time. That's what we can learn. And the most important thing is Lord is controlled by his devotees. That's why it took him 2 more years. Devotees were not allowing him to go. Every time they were saying, oh, ye aa raha hai, abhi ruk jaiye, aur aa raha hai, ruk jaiye, please stay for some time. So that's how Mahaprabhu apani achari Prabhu shikhaila sabare. He's teaching through his pastimes that how to enter Vrindavan. We have to do so many things. And while going to Vrindavan, he took a detour and went to Rup Sanatana Goswami. And everybody was thinking, why Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord who wanted to go to Vrindavan, what is that thing which attracted Supreme Lord? Just like generally a big magnet attracts iron filings. But process of devotional service is such a wonderful thing that even an iron filing can attract the greatest of the powerful magnets. 2 small iron filings were there, Rup Sanatan Goswami. And Mahaprabhu went, and then on the top of it, Sanatan Goswami just took initiation from Mahaprabhu, and then he says, Mahaprabhu, please don't go to Vrindavan. So can you imagine, that is the humility of Lord is showing. He's not saying, I am the Supreme Lord. Who are you to tell me? Prabhu Sanatan Mukhe Prabhu Mora Shikhaila. So Mahaprabhu is also having that humility that, oh, Krishna is teaching me through Sanatan Goswami. So many things are, can be learned from these pastimes.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Caitanya Caritāmrta ki jai.